The morning was dull, and once again I woke up alone. Brian had already gone to work, leaving a note on the kitchen table. Another reminder about some business meeting. Another day of repeated routine. I barely looked at it while pouring myself a cup of coffee, feeling the familiar emptiness take its place. There was no one to share the morning with. No warmth, no conversation, only the distant hum of the city outside my window and the quiet ache that settled deep inside. Something had to shift. Pulled my laptop closer and began searching. I had always admired women who carried themselves with natural grace, toned, polished and self-assured. I wanted to feel strong, to be seen, to be wanted. Within minutes I found a nearby fitness club, sleek and modern, with advanced equipment and professional coaches. Without second thought I signed up for a trial. The next day I stepped inside for the first time. The air buzzed with energy, a mix of iron from the machines, the scent of effort and the drive of people pushing themselves to their limits. Mirrors lined the walls, reflecting bodies in motion, a silent proof of discipline and consistency. I felt small, out of place, unsure where to begin. "Do you need a trainer?" The friendly voice of the receptionist startled me. I hesitated. I had no idea how to start. Weights, cardio, form, routines. It was all strange to me. "Yes," I finally said. "I think I could use some guidance." She smiled warmly. "We have a great coach, Nick. Very skilled, and he knows how to connect with people." "Want me to introduce you?" The way she said his name stirred something inside me, but I brushed it off. "Yeah," I replied, forcing a polite smile. "Let's do it." And at that moment my life began to The first time I saw Nick, I knew he was the kind of man aware of his effect on women. Tall, naturally athletic, with steady brown eyes and a smile carrying a hint of mischief. His black shirt clung to his frame, defining each line of his body, while his workout pants showed the strength beneath. "New here?" he asked, his gaze scanning me with interest. Nodded, nervous. "Yeah, first time in a I don't know what I'm doing." His smile widened as he offered his hand. "Nick. Nice to meet you, Amanda. Few sessions in, you'll feel right at home." His voice was deep, steady, full of easy confidence. But beneath it was something else, playful, magnetic. Pulse raced. We began slow warm-ups, basics, breathing techniques. He watched me closely, correcting my posture, his touch light, brief, yet sending warmth through my skin. "Relax," he murmured, guiding my hands with his. "You're too stiff." I inhaled slowly, trying to focus, but his nearness, his voice, kept pulling me away. The way he moved, stood close, filled the air around me. Every session became more than a workout. It became a moment of feeling awake, alive. I started caring more about how I looked before arriving. Tighter leggings, prettier tops, hair carefully done. I wanted him to notice, to see me as more than another client. One evening after a tough session, he watched me, catching my breath in the mirror. "You're making great progress," he said, his eyes holding mine. "That's because of you," I replied, keeping his gaze longer than I should. Something shifted in his look, deeper, stronger, undeniable. And in that instant I knew this was no longer just training. It was playing with fire. I found myself craving our sessions more than anything. It wasn't about fitness anymore. It was an escape from the silence at home, from lifeless talks, from the loneliness wine couldn't wash away. Nick became my drive. His voice, his touch, even his clean masculine. A slow burn, an unspoken tension. We both felt but never said aloud. "You're looking extra good today," he murmured once as I pushed through squats. Smirk. "Is that feedback or a compliment?" "Both," he replied, his voice low, rough. The way he said it lit a spark that rushed through me. That evening after training I lingered in the locker room, my body still warm, adrenaline buzzing. I wiped sweat. Slowly my thoughts restless. A door opened and Nick walked in. "Still here?" he asked, his eyes unreadable. "Yeah," I whispered, lost track of time. He came closer, the air between us heavy, the room smaller. His fingers brushed my shoulder, sliding down with the faintest touch. "You knew you were playing with fire, didn't you?" he murmured. I swallowed hard, breath shallow, yet I didn't step back. He didn't ask, didn't need to. His lips grazed my neck, whisper of heat, sending a shiver across me. In that moment doubt melted, replaced by something deeper, forbidden. I should have resisted, but I didn't. Nick drew closer, his hands settling on my waist, gentle yet certain. My breath caught as I closed my eyes, his warmth so close. His voice came low, edged with danger. "Is this what you want?" His gaze locked on mine, searching. Before reason could speak, before I could stop myself, the word escaped, soft but certain. His hands pressed me into the cold steel of the lockers. His body heat surged against me, muscle and strength holding me in place. And then his lips found mine. The world outside ceased to exist. The kiss began slow, deliberate, playful, as though we were both savoring the dangerous sweetness of this moment. But restraint faded fast. It deepened, turning hungrier, more urgent. His fingers slid along my thighs, pulling me into him, shaping me against his body. My breath quickened, my heart hammered so loudly I was sure he could hear. "You're so," he tried to whisper, but his words drowned in the fire of our kiss. His hands explored with certainty, unraveling the need that had been simmering beneath the surface far too long. I was lost in the sensation of him, the way he touched me, the way he claimed me. Every nerve alive, burning, craving. Nothing existed beyond this instant, beyond him. We both knew it was wrong. We both knew it wasn't a game. It was raw, irresistible passion, a force neither of us could stop. I didn't know what came next. I didn't care. Nick no longer restrained himself. His hands mapped my body, leaving trails of fire that made me tremble beneath his touch. The heat between us swelled like a storm, rising higher, threatening to consume us whole. His lips captured mine again, deeper, fiercer this time, as if he wanted to memorize every breath, every curve, every sound I made. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pulling him closer, clutching him tight as if holding on could freeze time. My fingers tangled in his hair, gripping hard, desperate to keep the moment alive. His hands moved lower, pressing me hard against him. His strength undeniable. His hunger unmistakable. The danger only made it more intoxicating. I knew we had little time. I knew anyone could walk in, but the thought only fueled the fire raging between us. Our movements turned frantic, more desperate. Heat flooded through me, stealing my breath, forcing soft moans past my lips. Nick heard them, felt them, and knew exactly the spell he cast over me. His touch grew bolder, demanding, his grip tightening, pinning me to the locker. His body pressing in as though afraid I'd vanish. I melted into him, surrendering to the blaze he'd awakened inside me. Something I hadn't felt in years, something I'd thought was gone. His lips brushed my ear, his breath hot against my skin. "You're incredible," he murmured, voice rough with need. I couldn't answer, only feel. Then suddenly the locker room door swung open. A sharp creak shattered the spell. I tore away, breath ragged, pulse wild. The air between us throbbed with everything we had done, everything we nearly had. Nick stepped back, jaw tight, eyes snapping toward the doorway. Frozen in place stood the cleaning lady, an older woman in a club uniform. Her face unreadable, her stance rigid. She said nothing at first, only gave a stiff, polite nod, as though willing herself to ignore what she'd witnessed. Then quietly, "Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt." Just as swiftly she slipped out. The silence that followed roared. I exhaled shakily, trying to steady myself, my skin still tingling, burning. Nick dragged a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply, his frame still taut. "That was risky," he muttered, a faint smirk curling his lips. Yet his eyes held something else, darker, unsatisfied. I swallowed, fumbling to fix my clothes, pretending to look composed though my body was still trembling. "Yeah," I managed, my voice low, shaky, and stupid. Nick edged closer, his fingers twitching like he longed to touch me again. But this time I stepped back. "We should stop," I forced out, the lie bitter on my tongue. His gaze flickered, narrowing, searching my face. "Is that really what you want?" I wanted to scream no. I wanted to surrender, to drown in the fire still crackling between us. But deep down I knew, we'd already crossed the line. If it happened again, there would be no return. "Yes," I said. I lied because telling the truth meant losing myself again. His expression didn't shift at first, but slowly his smirk vanished, his gaze cooled. "All right," he said at last, tone unreadable. "If that's what you want." I looked at him one final time, the sharp cut of his jaw, temptation carved into his features. Then, without another word, I turned and left the locker room. I left behind the ghost of my perfume, the heat of his touch, the memory of something unforgettable. But stepping outside into the cool night air, I knew I had left nothing at all. On the way home, my mind replayed every second. The way he touched me, the way he looked at me, the way he said my name. I told myself it was a mistake, that it wouldn't happen again. Yet as the elevator carried me up to my apartment, I realized my hands were still trembling. Inside, silence waited. The same silence that had haunted me for years. Brian, as always, was working late. His suit hung neatly in the closet. Our wedding photo sat untouched on the shelf, frozen in time, a reminder of the life we'd built, the life slipping from my grasp. Guilt twisted deep inside me. But so did something else. Excitement. I told myself to forget, to erase it. But how do you erase something that makes you feel alive for the first time in years? The next day, I walked into the gym as if nothing had happened. Nick said nothing. Acted as though last night hadn't existed. Yet in his eyes lingered a truth. A silent acknowledgement. Promise. He knew. He knew. This wasn't finished. Maybe it was just a fleeting fire destined to die out. Or maybe it was only the beginning. I drew a steadying breath and stepped forward, knowing I could never be the same woman again.